everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave here from The Dark Stuff. Have another quick video for you today. I just saw Speedy Ortiz the other night. You just saw a little bit of footage. I'm going to play another clip or two from them. This is my second time seeing Speedy Ortiz in concert, although this time was the only time I really got to actually watch them because of the fact that when I saw them last summer at the Maha Music Festival, I was the stage manager, so I was on the side of the stage and I couldn't really totally focus on them. Plus, I'm always, I'm doing stuff and I'm trying to monitor their time and make sure they're not going long or anything. And truth be told, their drummer was a bit of a handful last year because for some reason, he just kept disappearing when I needed him to be in a certain space. So it was they were it was no big deal. I found him really quickly. He was just in the trailer having a beer or whatever, but it was he was my one guy the entire day that was tough to wrangle when it was time for him to be in a certain specific space. Anyways, Speedy Ortiz was great as usual, right up my alley, 90s sounding indie rock with a female voice. My friend and I were both talking about how that night where they were playing a lot of new stuff that hasn't yet been released. I don't even know if it's even been recorded or not, but it was brand new stuff, and they pointed out we barely know these songs or whatever, but it sounded so much like classic Liz Phair music from 93, 94, her first two records, but with a better band, So what I was saying was if Liz Phair went into making Exile in Guyville and even that second one with a better band, and not such minimal arrangements. I love the minimal arrangements. Exile in Guyville is one of my favorite albums of all time, so it's not a knock on it, but if she took it from a different approach, wanted more lead guitar, a little bit louder sound, it would come out like Speedy Ortiz in my view, based on this new stuff that I was hearing. Their album, Foil Deer, came out last year, and I had it as my number 14 album of the year on my countdown here on The Dark Stuff. So obviously, I'm already a big fan. I was digging this new stuff. They're out on tour right now with an Omaha band called The Good Life. And actually, The Good Life was on that same festival last year, and that's apparently where they met, and they became friends and stuff, and that's why they're doing the package tour. So if you get a chance, I would go check it out. I've seen The Good Life a number of times, and unfortunately, I had a really early work appointment the next morning, so I had to ditch out before they played. I'm sorry, I know. But I have seen them 6 or 7 other times at least in the past. They are from here, after all. It's Tim Kasher from Cursive, in case you're unfamiliar. Maybe you just know Cursive or whatever. Great band, though, FYI. Okay, moving on. I didn't get too many new records, but I did have a gift certificate that I had lying around for a long time, so I went to go get a new record, and I was debating about... I still don't have the new Ace Frehley record because I ordered it on Amazon, and it's been on back order for a month and a half or something. And I haven't got it yet, and they had a copy at Homer's when I was there, and I was sort of thinking I should just get it with this gift certificate, but then I don't get a digital download with it, and as I've stated in other videos, I play the vinyl when I'm down in here in the bunker, but when I'm in the car and other places, I like having it digital. So I decided I'll just keep my Ace on back order. Eventually I'll get it. When they fulfill the order, I get a digital download because that's the way Amazon works. So I bought a record at Homer's instead, and I bought the new record from it's not actually new, it's from 2014, but the newest one from TV on the Radio called Seeds. This is their 2014 album. It's really nice. Gatefold. The packaging is great. It's a double album. You got your custom labels and all of that. So it's really, really nice packaging. Now, I've played TV on the Radio for years. I've been a fan of this band for since they originally came out. They were on Touch and Go Records. It's got this great booklet too. Big, hold on, I'm messing it up here. With lyrics really big and everything. Great packaging. I don't think the band is as good. They've never really duplicated the quality of that debut album just because of the directness of it. I felt like it was really, stylistic-wise. Before I forget this, I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's also a lentricular cover. It comes with this little piece. I don't know if it can be displayed very well on the screen, if you can see that or not, but if you move the lentricular piece, there you go. I don't know if you're getting anything out of that. It does show movement, and the only other ventricular image that I've ever had on a record was on Kiss Psycho Circus, which is a shitty album, but it's a cool cover for that regard. Anyways, back to the album. I have all of TV on the Radio's albums, and I do like all of them. They are a fantastic band. Sometimes it's a little dense and it's a little hard to follow, and they do tend to meander a little bit musically. That's why I like that first album with like Staring at the Sun and everything. It was on Touch and Go Records, and it was because it was just really much more direct than anything that they'd ever done. And now this one is heavily meandering. There's a lot of mellow tracks, but I really love this song called Ride on It, which when I listened to the first time, it really hit me as a strong tune. Probably the best on the album.
Ground below receding, blink of an eye, higher than high. Fathers, sisters, brothers, others born of mothers.
So, you know, it's a good record. I should point out, though, that my theory about buying versus down... Okay, so that TV on the Radio album came out at the very end of 2014. Okay, so it's a year and a half old. It said comes with a digital download, but when I bought the record and I opened it up and I went to redeem the code was expired. I tried it anyways just to see if that was a real hard deadline or not, and it was. Yeah, I didn't get it. So, unfortunately, you know, I don't get the download of it. I did kind of get screwed. I could have just got the Ace, but whatever. You know, I like the TV on the Radio. Next, I got this for the radio. Different radio context. The new Twin Peaks album, Down in Heaven. Really pumped about it. I played their last album, Wild Onion, a lot on my radio show. By the way, they're a garage band from Chicago. Really young guys. I think they're only about 21 years old at this point. This is their third album. They have this great pop rock writing sense. They sound like they are a band that could have existed in the 70s, but they play like more modern era kind of garagey rock, but they have just a lot of great, really great songwriting that you don't, when you hear garage rock, a lot of times people think it's going to be really fast and heavy and noisy and whatever, and these guys are doing pop in the garage.
And in a little while, I'll be gone. Yeah, and in a little while, I'll be gone. It only takes a little while to get along. So come on, baby, get a smile and come on, oh yeah.
It's really excellent stuff. I used to play the old album so much that the record company Grand Jury sent me a copy of it on vinyl. Now Twin Peaks is real popular, so I don't think they'll do that because everyone's playing them now. But the new album Down in Heaven is out. I'm gonna buy this on vinyl because they said this is the clean version. They're not big swearers or whatever, but I still don't want it to be, you know, the clean version. It only affects maybe one or two songs, but whatever. I'm gonna pick it up again. So again, Twin Peaks is out on tour. I would recommend going to see them. I've still never seen them. I'm seeing them on June 29th here in Omaha. They're playing at the Waiting Room, and I'm pretty excited for that. The only other record that I'd really be prepared to talk about is the new one from Kristin Kontrol. Now, I've referenced her a couple of times on the show before. Kristin Kontrol is this woman, Kristen Welches. Okay, that's her real name. And for years, she has been Dee Dee of the Dum Dum Girls. The Dum Dum Girls is a band that, yeah, I've talked about on this show. I think the Dum Dum Girls, if I'm remembering correctly, their last album was my number one in 2014. So fantastic. I've seen the Dum Dum Girls 3 or 4 times. Didn't even realize at the beginning that it really wasn't a band. It was this Kristen Welches, or Dee Dee. She writes all the songs. She comes up with the entire concept. She came up with the band name. She doesn't even have, the girls who are on stage with her playing aren't even the ones who play on the albums. So it was really never a band. It was really just a project for her. It was a format for her to do this kind of slightly 60s girl group inspired garage rock with elements of like 80s and 90s indie music thrown in there. Really excellent songwriting. All 3 of their albums are great. All of their EPs are great. I loved the Dum Dum Girls. And I was sad when I heard that she was retiring the name and not doing that sound anymore because she feels like she's just done with it. You know, she's not coming up with any new material. So she has reinvented herself in this new Kristin Kontrol persona.
I'm Kristin, and this is Kristin Kontrol.
Taken back her first name. And when I first got a single sent from Sub Pop for a song called Excommunicate, which is the title of the album, I thought it was like indie rock Madonna, and I again, I don't mind Madonna in the 80s, but I loved the Dum Dum Girls so much. I was just really thrown by how different it was. It's definitely her voice, obviously, but musically it was just so different. Then I got another single sent, again, pre-album release, called Show Me.
Show me what you're capable of. Show me what you're capable of. Is it love? Is it love?
Show Me just sounded, I could hear the elements of the Dum Dum Girls, her vocal melodies, the way she writes songs, the way she does vocal parts, that kind of thing. It just sounded with a little bit more of a dance or electronic sort of beat. And when I read her the marketing materials that go along with the album, she talks about how, yeah, Madonna and like 80s pop music was a big inspiration on this new album, and that's what she wanted to do. Her version of 80s music, like Madonna, like Tiffany, and people like that, which I'm just like, oh my God, how stupid is this? Now that the album is out, I've had a chance to absorb it a little bit more. It's not the Dum Dum Girls, but I feel like I'm gonna start liking it more and more progressively, because I do like it the more I listen to it. I really did like that song Show Me, which is the opening track. I like a couple of other tracks. I don't like every song on the album. Maybe I'll warm up to it. She's going out on tour this summer as the opening act for Garbage on a number of dates, so if you are a Garbage fan, you'll maybe get a chance to see her. I don't know what she's like live. I mean, I saw the Dum Dum Girls a number of times. They were great. They wore these like sheer see-through tops, and they were real sexy, and they played guitar and all this. And now she's just, well, still sexy, of course, but she's just a front woman, and I don't know what kind of band she's gonna have or whatever, so it could be a totally different experience. She could be like a Madonna. She could just make herself the focus, wear crazy clothes, whatever. Anyways, I think people should maybe check it out. I mean, it's not a 100% solid recommendation. If the clip didn't do it for you, and if this description didn't do it for you, maybe investigate it a little further. But if you're unfamiliar with the Dum Dum Girls, I'd say go back and pick up that stuff first, because it is better, in my view. I don't know if I'll get a chance to check out, if I can get some free tickets for the Garbage thing through the label, because through Kristin Kontrol, maybe I will, and I'll check it out. I've seen Garbage, good live band. I'm just not really much of a fan, so I wouldn't probably pay for tickets on my own just to see her. I'd kind of like to see Kristin Kontrol as a headliner, but that may not be for a while before that would happen. I did meet her before. I have a signed Dum Dum Girls record and 7-inch up on the wall. She was super nice and explained, you know, she's very, very detail oriented and is very much in control. And that's why this whole thing is not some sort of marketing. I mean, it's like this is what she wants to do, and I'm all for artists following where their artistic vision leads them. I just qualify that by saying that doesn't mean I'm going to follow you there. It just means I respect the fact that you're doing what you're doing. It's just I might not go along for the ride. The last thing, I haven't even opened it. You can tell it's still sealed. This is the Claypool Lennon Delirium, which is a record from Les Claypool and Sean Lennon. Okay, it sounds kind of interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's already out. I believe it's on ATO Records. I haven't listened to it yet. I did like Primus when they first came out in the late 80s, up through about Frizzle Fry, the Suck on This and Frizzle Fry, and I just thought they've sucked ever since then. I'm just not a fan. Sean Lennon I find very interesting. His band, that I caught them about 2 years ago or something, and they were fucking amazing, and I had a really, really good time, and Sean was like cool, and I thought, due to the nature of the way his father died, I thought maybe he'd be real standoffish about fans and stuff, and he was like, hey, I'll be at the back merch booth talking to people, signing autographs. He was totally cool about it. It was a welcome development. Anyways, that's all I got for you, folks. We're going to close out with the last Speedy Ortiz clip. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.